everybody, and welcome to GCM's monthly webinar. So before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Thierry Gauthier. I'm a personal performance and business coach. With me tonight, we also have Kula Crawley-Moore. She's my partner in crime in GCM. And she's also a personal performance and business coach. She will act tonight as a moderator for this webinar. This session is meant to be fun. So I will ask for your contributions too. There will be a few interactive activities. So you will get some opportunities to express yourselves if you wish to do so. Right, let's have a quick look at the etiquette. So the first thing, please stay on mute when listening. It's just because of the amount of background noise. It makes it a bit difficult sometimes to hear. Use the chat function and annotation as much as you like. Kula is here for you. At the end of the session, ask questions, share stories and challenges, comment on the topic, feel free to do so. If you have any technical issues, just let us know and Kula will help you. The session will be recorded except for the question and answer at the end. Right, takeaways from today's session. So first, before we start, let me just confirm that I am not a financial advisor, I'm afraid. So don't ask me any questions about investment, VAT, because I am not a reliable person for that. No, this is not my training, seriously. So this is just about coaching, and it's to help you develop the right habits in relation to finance. If I give tips, they are commonly accepted ones, okay? And once again, I'm not here to advise on how to save or spend your money. And I just want you to think about your personal financial situation and how you can improve it by following some easy, simple steps. First, we need to challenge our beliefs about money because they are responsible for the way we act with money, how we save or spend our money, our habits in relation to that. Secondly, I will explain why it is important to change our mindset about money and how you can do this. Being wealthy does not necessarily mean being a millionaire. We can learn to have plenty without having millions sitting in our bank accounts. And finally, I will share with you some practical tips to help you control and make the most of your money. So you can use the chat, you can unmute yourselves. Just tell me, this is just a little warm-up activity on this topic. When you hear the word money, what are the first 3 words that come to your mind? So you can write them in the chat, you can unmute yourselves and say them out loud. You can annotate if you know how to do this. Show me money. When you hear the word money, what comes to your mind? I'm going to have a look at the chat as well, but Kula will, anything that comes to your mind? Aha. Green, stress and hard to come by. Ooh, stress. To chase the money, yes. Spend, save, bills. Yes, all of the above. Anything else when it comes to money? Pension, aha. And be thankful. Security, bills, savings, salary. Okay, so what strikes you about that choice of words? Overall, are they positive or negative? Oh, I see, be thankful, salary, enjoying it. Okay, so it's good because there's a mixture of positive and negative things that comes with the word money. Brilliant. I've got now a little poll for you, and I'm gonna, okay, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna give you a minute to to read these statements and choose the ones that, oh, sorry, hang on, and Pauline, sorry, that's, oh, what happened? Because we've opened the poll later on, earlier on, as we practiced. Where's my poll gone? Relaunch polling. Exiting. Do you want to continue? Can you choose? No, I don't know what we've done earlier on. Okay, I'm going to read them for you, but unfortunately you can't choose them. Relaunch. Okay, so which of these statements apply to you? First one, money doesn't grow on trees. Money is there to be spent. I have to work hard for my money. Money is a limited resource. Money can't buy happiness. Money is the root of all evil. Ooh. It's not right to be rich when other people are poor. I can either make money or do what I love. I'm just not good with money. And my family has never been rich, so there we go. So does any of these apply to you? Sorry, unfortunately, I wanted to do the, to get you to do an anonymous poll, but I don't know what's happened. It's not working. Okay. These sentences, you may have heard other people say them, or you may think about them yourselves, are beliefs we hold about money. Unfortunately, they act as well as self-fulfilling prophecies, because that's the way our brain works, basically. So, okay, I see someone says money can't buy happiness. That's
enjoy it. That is lovely.
Okay, I'm going to, you might have to stop the poll. Stop share. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. It's not working. Okay. Oh, I've just realized what I've done. Okay. So that was just a few ideas about money. And, okay, my computer is having an issue. There we go. So whatever you are currently believing about money, the good news is that we can change what, our beliefs, our opinions, and our thoughts about money. So there's 5 ways, we say, to change our thoughts, our subconscious about money. So first of all, we need to push our money boundaries. I will explain all this in a minute. Second, you can adopt a positive money mindset. Third, you can learn from past financial failures, definitely. Fourth one is use coaching to shift those old beliefs. And finally, we can reset our money goals. So let's have a look at this more in detail now. So the first one, push your money boundaries. Most people tend to think that their finances are influenced by external factors that they have little or no control over. Of course, there are external factors. However, with a good contingency plan, these should be minimized. The most important factor is where you expect to be. So what you're thinking will determine what's happening in your life. Somewhere deep down, you have several money goals. We all have money goals subconsciously, or set points, we call them as well. They set our expectations about how much money and debt we can have. For a lot of people, their debt increases at the same rate as their salary. So whether you earn 15,000 or 50,000 a year, some people will still have an overdraft. As their overdraft limit increases, so does their debt. The more we earn, the more we change our lifestyle. You have control over your finances. Become aware of your spending limits, and I'm going to show you how in a few minutes. Okay, second way is by adopting a positive mindset. Most of our beliefs about money are set by our childhood experiences. For a few seconds, think about how did your family experience money? What were the messages you received? Chances are that your family's money mindset was like many others. Money is hard to get, money doesn't grow on trees. You know, I've showed you some statements earlier on. For example, if there were hard times, was there an expectation that they were temporary and better times would come? Or was money seen as something elusive or scarce? Once you have identified where your money mindset comes from, you can take back control and reset it for abundance. Now, there's a theory about two ways of seeing money. Either there is a lack or a shortage of money for everyone. That's what we call the scarcity mindset. Or there is enough for everyone, and that's the abundance mindset. If your mind works with the scarcity mindset, no matter how much you earn, you will never have enough. And worse than that, you will find yourself in difficult situations due to factors that seem external to you. If you have an abundance mindset, you operate with the idea that you have enough of everything. 3 pairs of trousers, that's enough. My 5-year-old car is doing fine, that's enough. My flat, that's enough. Whatever you want to achieve that's connected to money, make sure you are happy and satisfied with what you have first. Otherwise, you might fall into the trap of always wanting more and never having enough. Word of advice, learn to be happy with what you currently have. So we have to be, in a way, it's practicing gratefulness. I am grateful because I already have this and that, you know, and that changes our perception. So how can you reframe your beliefs about money? You will need to find some statements that work for you. For example, if you believe that money is hard to get, what would be a positive way to address that? How can you reframe it? For me, for example, because I was always concerned about money and, you know, not having enough money, now I tell myself money keeps coming in, and it's true, you know, because like most people, you know, every month I receive some wages, and I just have to I must keep it as much as I possibly can in. That's my idea for rainy days. So rather than, I can't tell myself, oh yes, I can have all the money in the world, but at least I know that money keeps coming in. That's reassuring. And my job is to make sure I keep it. Well, I don't want to be a Scrooge either, but make sure I have, you know, enough for a rainy day. Also, everyone goes through bad times, but it's up to you how you deal with them and what stays in your mind afterwards. Maybe past failures continue to haunt you. We've all had, you know, I don't know, I've had certainly past failures when it comes to money. And do they remind you and reinforce negative money messages from your childhood? Feeling guilty or sad about past failures is not a good way to build a positive future. So acknowledge your past mistakes. What did you learn from them? you know, okay, once I went into debt, and what did I learn from it? How did I get there? What can I do to avoid it? How can you use basically this learning to move on and focus on better things? See mistakes as opportunities to learn. So there's no shame about having past financial failures. They're just opportunities to learn, just to reinforce this. Coaching is a good way as well to help you shift old beliefs, because these negative experiences and what we heard when we were children has, you know, it's really ingrained in our brains. So we have to break some sort of patterns. And coaching has very effective techniques to help you shift old patterns. They are no longer old patterns, sorry, that are no longer serving you. This is one of the core skills in coaching. We help you check your values and make sure that your beliefs are aligned with them. We use techniques such as reframing, anchoring to help you focus your mind on unblocking negative emotions. Kula and I have practiced these skills for years to help ourselves, haven't we, Kula? And others. So talk to one of us if you need support in this area. And finally, reset your money goals. So subconsciously, we all have, as I said, money goals, but we can consciously reset them. Once you have cleared away old beliefs, you can set new positive money goals. You will have the freedom to make positive choices. Instead of focusing on the difficulties of paying bills, you can change your expectations and focus on what really matters. Remember to set SMART goals. If you were with us before, we've talked about setting SMART goals. If you don't know what they are, ask me during the Q&A session, and I will very happily explain what it is. Quickly, it means specific. Goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-phased. So there should be a time limit. If your first goal is to clear off your debts, make sure it is done in a realistic manner. Write them down as well. So be realistic and write them down. The reason why we say write them down is because it's a bit like a contract between you and yourself. Don't set yourself a failure by aiming to use half of your salary for debt repayment, for instance, because this is not realistic. Think about the following questions as well. What can I do less of? You know, when we take New Year's resolution, we say, oh, what am I going to do this year? Maybe what can I do less of something is the real question. What can I reasonably cut down? Maybe you can buy a whole lettuce rather than buy the very expensive pre-prepared bowls or bags, salad bags. That's much, much cheaper. Maybe sometimes you can walk to save some petrol. You know, if you go to a shop, it might be possible to walk. At the moment, I know we don't go to shops. These do make a difference eventually. And another important piece of advice, you will need to be patient with yourself and keep looking at your goal regularly to make sure you don't forget about it. So be patient. It takes time, but one day at a time, 1 month at a time, you will get there. We had this discussion earlier on with Kula, how we saved £1 a day to go on holiday. And eventually we got there, didn't we? Right. Now, I'm going to talk you through a process to grow what is known as a wealth mindset. The idea that, you know, we can be rich without being multimillionaires. That's my idea here. And also the idea is to regain control over our finances. Oops, sorry. So I'm reading a book at the moment that has got nothing to do with this. It's written by someone called Dr. Bruce Lipton, and it's called Biology of Belief. It's called The Biology of Belief. And Dr. Lipton is a cell biologist, and he compares money to energy. And he says, you can buy energy with your cash. If you're frugal with your money or with your energy, you can live with it. If you waste your energy or your money, you're interfering with your own survival. You just don't want to go out and throw away your money. Just like we rely on our money to live on, our cells rely on our energy. If there's no energy, there's no life. That's what he says. And it's a bit the same with money, basically. So I quite like this comparison. Nowadays, without money, it is hard to live. Maybe this is maybe it's a good comparison. Maybe we should see money as energy. Some activities we do replenish us of energy or money. You work, and this is, or you work or investments, they replenish us, let's say, of money. Other activities deplete us of our energy, and it's the same, spending money is the same. So if we lead a hectic life, if we don't sleep enough, we will end up suffering from burnout. If we spend our money mindlessly, we will end up with a lot of stress, worry, and very negative consequences. So let's be mindful about how we spend our money as we do with our energy. That's why I like this idea that we know we need to pace ourselves in life. If we do everything quickly all the time, running here and there, we won't have enough energy, and eventually we're going to collapse. That's the same principle with money, basically. And remember that advertising is based on incentives to make people buy before they think. So do think before you buy. I have a principle personally of never buying on the spur of the moment. Okay, I may miss some fantastic offers, but more often than not, I don't end up buying something I either didn't want or didn't need. Now, there's another nice tool to help you think about money. It's called the hierarchy of money, and it's got 4 tiers. So, first of all, I'm going to ask you actually a little activity. You can use the chat, unmute yourselves, annotate. You're very welcome to do all of these. I'm going to ask you, what would you put in each category? So the first category is the financial survival, the basic financial survival needs. I'll give you an example. To pay the bills, you have to pay your bills. Otherwise, you will lose your accommodation, your car, everything. What other basic needs would you put in this category? Food, yes, definitely. We have to buy food, otherwise we won't last very long, even if we go on a hunger strike. Any other basic? Petrol, yes, fuel, petrol, heating as well, definitely. Cleaning supplies, absolutely. Energy, definitely. Insurances, they can be expensive, but we have to have insurances because it's too, if you haven't got a house insurance, that could cost a lot of, could give you a lot of problems. Oops. New clothes when old ones are worn. Yes, we have to wear clothes, otherwise we would be in trouble, wouldn't we? So they are part, to some extent, of our basic needs. The second tier is financial comfort and security. To give you an idea, it could be about having an emergency fund for the rainy days, or having some extra cash for breakages, for example. Savings, investments, yes. So for example, yes, it is the savings, the investments, ISA, if you have an ISA, that's in your financial comfort and security. Anything else you can think of? Pension. Pension will become more and more needed probably, as pensions are not as generous as they used to be. Okay, is there anything else I was thinking about? Going out, maybe is going out part of your financial comfort? Yes, saving pension, helping causes which are important. Yes. Now we're going to talk about this in a minute. Actually, thank you for that. There's the lifestyle option. Lifestyle options could be holidays. It could be, if you choose to put your children in a private school, that will be school fees. That's a lifestyle option. School is free, but if you choose private school, you will have to pay for it. Outing, yes. Going out, that's a lifestyle. You might want to learn, get some extra qualifications. This is also a lifestyle option. Okay, and at the top of the pyramid, I don't know if you have any idea, I'll give it to you, what we call financial altruism. This is, if you can reach this, you can, then you've reached the top. And Isabel earlier on mentioned helping causes which are important, like horse riding when possible, for example, especially for disabled. This, there's a charity that is doing this, and they've just been able to buy from the owner to buy the stables, and they help disabled kids, which is fantastic. And Isabel was good at promoting and supporting them. Thank you for that. Right, let's move on. So, oh, sorry, I meant to say before we move on, have a look at your pyramid. You can, now if you remember this, you can do it on in your own time. What shape has your pyramid? Is it really, has it got a strong base and it's going up this way, or has it got a shaky base and then this is not viable? We have to think about that. Another tool you can use, which should help you think about your financial situation, is called the financial SWOT. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I'm gonna ask you to do some work now. I've just seen a message, lifestyle options less important. Yes, definitely, because we need to have a strong base. So going back to the SWOT, I'm going to ask you to spend a few minutes thinking about each category. So for the first quadrant, strengths, where are your personal strengths when it comes to money? Can you think of where what's good about what you're doing? Have you got good spending habits? Have you got good knowledge about financial situations? Have you got excellent earning capacities? You've done amazing investments, or you're earning a lot of money from your job. These are your strengths. So what are you good at? What do you know you do well? Okay. The second quadrant is about your weaknesses. So think about the areas of money you personally need to be careful about. What are these areas you need to be careful about? What do you need to work on? What do you need to improve? Do you have bad spending habits? Are you an emotional buyer? You see something and it's like, yes, I need that one. Or are you a more careful, logical buyer? You know, do you do your pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages? If you're an emotional buyer, you have to be aware of it, because that should tell you something. You should be careful before you buy, basically. Am I buying on an impulse?
A point that Isabella has written on chat. She's not sure that the inheritance is an opportunity. It is, yeah, you have no choice, but it is given to you, and that gives you more opportunity to do things with it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Kula. Yes, a promotion, opportunities and threats are external to us. They happen to us, but we are not responsible for them. Your strengths and your weaknesses, they are in you. Opportunities and threats come from the outside world around us. So yes, you might be very lucky, you've had an inheritance and you decided to buy a wonderful car or whatever takes your fancy. You might have a promotion at work. Well, that's an opportunity, or you might apply for a higher, a better paid job. That would be an opportunity. Also, there are loads of opportunities to renegotiate your interest rates, for example. And finally, the threats. So look, what are the threats for you, you know, in your situation? Where do you see the threats in your personal finances? What would compromise your financial health? Is your job or your main source of income stable and secure? Are you planning for unexpected expenses? You know, these are the threats. My car broke down. I need to have my car to go to work. That is a serious threat. And what we need to do is try to find out ways of turning threats into opportunities sometimes, when it is possible. You can't always do it, but sometimes you can. Okay, my car broke down, now I have to get on the bus. Actually, it works out cheaper maybe than getting the car. Maybe later spend some time on each of these quadrants to check where your strengths, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities really are. And then think about how can you use this awareness to change your financial situation. How can you minimize your weaknesses, and how can you anticipate the threats? What steps do you need to take to make the most of your financial SWOT, basically? What steps do you need to take? So once you've done all this thinking, what do you need to change? Okay, now, actually, you can write in the chat. Yes, actually, oh, I'm just looking at the chat before we move on. Threats, job uncertainty, definitely. Inflation is also a threat, definitely. Furlough scheme ending, that is a massive threat for a lot of people. What's going to happen? Hopefully something else will come up. So what's the most precious thing you have? Is it your money? Is it your jewelry? Is it your car? Is it your house? Your furniture? Your paintings? Your land? Or maybe is it your time, the time you spend with your family, with your friends? So everything has to be, you know, in proportion. Where do we attach a lot of importance? What really matters for us? Ah, I see. Yes. Oh, now I see. Time, home, my health. Thank you. Health and my family and friends. Definitely time, health and family. Yes. So you see, we have to be we have to be able to appreciate what really matters for us and stop focusing on the negativity of, you know, having money for the sake of money. Personally, I'm not, money is a means to an end, but it's certainly not an end. And I am not interested in changing that in myself, to be honest. As long as I've got enough money to enjoy the lifestyle I'm enjoying, that's fine, because what's more important for me is certainly my family, my friends, the time I spend with the loved ones doing what I love doing. Another good thing we can do is list all the things that money can't really buy. Once again, you can unmute yourselves, you can type in the chat or annotate. What are some of the things that money can't buy? Can you think of anything? Should I give you an example? I'm gonna, love, thank you. Health, mental health, that is priceless, especially at the moment. Yes, and love again. Hugs, yes. How much is a hug? Some people are paying to be hugged by some special huggers. Huggers, do you say that? That sounds wrong. You see what I mean. Reassurance, absolutely. Reassurance is priceless these days. We need all these things. I'm going to give you a list. Health comes top. Home. Aren't we happy we have a home? We should be grateful. Some people don't even have a home. Trust, thank you. Trust as well. Respect, friendship, love, self-satisfaction, wisdom, purpose, happy kids if you've got children, how lovely it is not to have to worry about them. Loyalty, character, have inner peace. This is also priceless. Gratitude. Gratitude is a great thing. There's been loads of scientific studies about expressing gratitude. It actually changes what we call the neurochemistry, the way, you know, all the chemicals in your brain change by being grateful. Emotional well-being, yes, definitely. These things we can, you know, having a nice walk in the countryside. I was reading recently, there has been studies about walking in the woods, in a forest, apparently breathing forest air. It triggers the production, it lowers, sorry, that doesn't trigger, it lowers the production of cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone that creates stress. Well, if you go for a walk in the forest, in the woods, apparently there's something in it that will lower your levels of cortisol. That's another good thing. Self-esteem, close-knit family, time, confidence. Some people pay a lot of money to, you know, to gurus to become more confident. Come to us, we are much more affordable, aren't we, Kula? We do work on confidence. Quite a few people ask to have coaching about their confidence and self-esteem. Self-love, that's a similar. There's many more. You can read them as I'm talking. Okay, now these are we all in a positive frame of mind at the moment? Are we ready to tackle the hard bits now? Let's have a look. Where is the hard bit? Sorry, that's French for ouch. An umbrella. Do we have an umbrella for the rainy days? So we talk about emergency funds, and the website, actually, I was looking, what is exactly an emergency fund? And Vanguard, the website, specializes in money, defines it as a stash of money set aside to cover the financial surprises life throws your way. The financial surprises, they are quite positive. You know, it sounds like, oh, that's exciting. Might not always be exciting. These unexpected events can be stressful and costly. and they can keep us awake at night. So we need to avoid this. When do we need an emergency fund? Here are some of the top emergencies that people face. Job loss. That happens, out of nowhere sometimes. And those who are blessed with an emergency fund, it gives them time, to get back up. Medical or dental emergency. You break a tooth, you need an implant. That costs about £3,000. Can we afford it? Unexpected home repairs. Something, the roof has a leak, you need to change, that can cost quite a lot of money. Car troubles, the brakes or the clutch breakdown, that is very expensive. Unplanned travel expenses, you need to go back, if like Kula and myself, sometimes we might have to go back to our own homeland, home country, to look after our loved ones. That can be at the last minute, that can be very expensive. So if you can, little by little, in a realistic way, aim to save, they say 3 to 6 months of your total income. And then you will sleep better if you haven't already done so. Not sleeping, saving, I meant. Okay. I'm going to quickly skip this one actually about retirement, because I think we'll ask Kula one day to do a special webinar on retirement coaching. How do you feel about it, Kula? She's not impressed with me. Okay, so planning your retirement. Nope, sorry. Practical tips. I have to turn. I can't cheat today, as I said. I have my cheat sheets, I confess. Practical tips to manage your money. First one is about budgeting. And one of the things that is advised is to create a 50, 30, 20 budget. You can use one of the free budget planners or templates available on the internet, but make sure you allocate what they say is 50% of your salary on needs, paying the rent, paying the food bills, you name it. 30% on wants, shopping, whatever you want to have. And 20% on goals, like debt repayment, or if you're planning to get married, well, you're going to have to save quite a bit of money for that. So that goes into your money goals. Also, switch up your bills. And I know someone, I think she's here tonight, who's done this recently. I'm sure she saved a lot of money. I'm not giving names, but switching electricity bills, internet providers, telephone, what am I missing? Gas, all these utility bills, it's worth checking, shopping around for other providers. If you haven't got the time, you can use companies like Uswitch, for example. There's another one, I can't remember the name at the moment. There are other ones, sorry. And they will do all this for you. Also, focus on paying off debts. Aim to pay off your loans and your credit cards as quickly as it is realistically possible. I'm sure you know that. If you feel you cannot cope, get in touch as soon as you can, and maybe tomorrow morning, because it's really important, with a free debt advice charity. And there are quite a few around. I can give you some names. There's one called stepchange.org. They're free, they will advise you for free. Stepchange.org, nationaldebtline.org, moneyadviceservices.org.uk. Okay, so if you feel you're struggling, you don't need to, spend sleepless nights about it. Make sure you contact them, and they will be supportive, and you will find your inner peace again. Okay. The fourth piece of advice is maybe consider a second job. if you have enough energy to, after you've done your first one, maybe you can work a few hours. Do you have any talents that you could use as well? Then set yourself a savings goal. So once you've paid all your debts, can you set yourself a savings goal? Make sure once again, it is realistic and achievable. And also build an emergency fund, as we just discussed. This will help you sleep better at night when your fridge is on its last leg or the car is showing signs of aging. Pay into a pension fund. As I said earlier on, pensions used to be maybe a bit more generous than now. They will probably have be lower, less and less generous as we live older. So it's worth paying into a pension pot, basically. Maximize your employment benefits. Do you have private healthcare that comes with work? Sometimes some people have the option to opt into private healthcare for just a few pounds a month. Some companies give access to a gym. Some companies give special discounts in some shops, or what do you call them, luncheon vouchers. Is there anything you can get from your work? Also, another important, we don't tend to do these things, and it's such a shame because it's really helpful. Talk to an accountant or a financial advisor. An accountant can help you save quite a lot of money on tax, and the financial advisor should be able to advise you, on interest rates, the best loans, mortgages, if you need to do a remortgage. Remortgaging is also something that can save a lot of money. And finally, use comparison shopping websites. There's a lot around. You've seen the adverts on TV with the little meerkats, for example. It's worth shopping around, as I said earlier on, also for bank accounts. Sometimes it's worth changing credit cards, because the credit card we have has very high interest rates. Other credit cards have low rates. I have a credit card for euros. Actually, now it's for all sorts of currencies, because I ended up paying a lot of money every time I was going back to France or Greece. Every time I withdrew money, I was paying, I can't remember, quite a few pounds, and then it adds up. But there are special credit cards for that as well, if you travel a lot. Or yes, even if you stay in the UK, there are credit cards with much lower interest rates. You probably know all this, but do you actually do anything with it? Is it part of your daily routine or habits? What needs to happen before you become in total control of your finances? That's the kind of things we need to think of. What can we do? What has to change in what we're doing? Hopefully you've developed some awareness of your spending habits, of your beliefs. And the first step is to become aware. Then once you're aware of what's not working for you, you can change this. As I said, for example, if you have some negative beliefs about money, how can you turn them into something more positive? And keep saying them to yourselves, and catch yourself thinking, the right thing as well. Okay, so now this is the exciting thing. We have a new online course called Master Your Money, and we say daily lessons. They're not daily lessons. We call them daily lessons, but you could do one lesson a week. if that's the amount of time you have. Each lesson has content to read, about 5 pages, depends, 5-6 pages. And then there are self-coaching activities. And in the Master Your Money course, we talk you through all the areas where you can either improve your financial situation by saving money, spending less, being more aware of how you spend your money, and finding opportunities. And at the end, when you finished all the daily lessons, that should take up to 20 hours, we reckon, to do all the reading and the activities. Then you contact us and arrange a 30-minute coaching session. And in this coaching session, we give you an opportunity to consolidate and reinforce really what you have learned in all the lessons, and design a personal plan to make sure that what you have learned is going to stay with you for long. So we have a special deal. It's £39 for this course instead of £59, and the offer is valid until 25th of March 2021. And if you're like me, you won't buy it now because never buy on the spur of the moment, as I said. That's the first course, that's the brand new one that we've been working on. We still have the daily affirmation course. We're talking of positive affirmations because they can have a dramatic impact on someone's confidence, on their self-esteem, as well as physical and mental well-being. I was quite shocked a few months ago, before I started with that course, to read that they have done studies on with people with mental, people who had mental problems, and they found that finding the negative, once again, the negative thoughts, reframing them into something positive, they were finding the right words that would resonate with these people, help them change their mental health. So it's quite powerful, and it's worth looking into it. If you practice them every day, you'll find you hold yourself with more confidence. Even your posture will change. And some people apparently, according to these studies, I mean, got sick less often. So there are 5 lessons in this online course. And once again, it's lessons, pages to read, and exercises. And at the end, there's a 30-minute coaching session with either Kula or myself, and we'll make sure you have a plan in place, an action plan to sustain what you've learned. If you want something more specific about confidence, we have designed a course called Get Confidence. It's an online course as well. It's got 5 modules, and we're talking about what makes a person look and feel confident. What do they do on a daily basis? We'll talk you through the various steps that will change the way you see yourself and what you think about yourself. It provides a wide range of activities to help you become a more confident person, basically. And as always, at the end of the course, you've got a 30-minute session with either Kula or myself to design an action plan to take this learning, to maximize this learning. Right, do you have any questions about what we've discussed tonight? Please feel free to unmute yourselves or ask in the chat, whichever works for you. And I'm going to stop recording because that's the condition. Where is it? More chat. Stop recording.